All right, it's the second part of my gigantic mega RC collection. The first part, of course, being the largest part of my collection, being my trail trucks. I featured that in the last and first episode of my collection video. But look at this. Everything I have to this date still laid out right here in the room, except for my full-size 8,000-pound radio control skid steer. Everything else is in this room. Now, I know you can't get a grasp of how much size this is. That's what she said. But you can see the Primal RC Raminator in the back there looking like a tiny little machine compared to all of the radio control hobby products in this room. Now, I have had to store these, collect these, clean these, maintain these, and of course make sure they all have batteries to run every time we use them on the show. But I figured I would show you what it takes to make YouTube gold, and of course what it takes to get Loading Kings on the go and to maintain that show as well. This is the second largest part of my collection. Let's get started in the upper corner. Now, bear with me as I fight my way through a flu that has had me in its clutches for 2 weeks. But regardless, why the heck would I be showing a trailer? This is supposed to be radio control hobby equipment, not accessories, viewers may say. And that's true. But this Trommel trailer, also known as Payday, if you've never seen it before, check out Season 2, the later episodes of YouTube Gold, and you will see that this entire trailer is actually radio controlled. This is a dirt screening drum that turns when there is dirt loaded into the top of the hopper. The large particulates that are no good, like the big rocks and stuff, come out to this back conveyor system that folds out and actually leads the unusable dirt into a pile that can be loaded away by a wheel loader. The good soil that can be used actually comes out the front onto an unfolding conveyor as well, which actually rotates left and right via radio control. An amazing little unit, cost thousands of dollars for this unit. But definitely a bonus on the show to help us separate. 3 ESCs in here, 1 to run the speed of the drum, 1 to run the speed of the front conveyor, and 1 to run the speed of the back conveyor. Believe it or not, there is a conveyor right here as well that feeds all the dirt in. So that's actually running on a separate ESC that helps run the back conveyor system. The Rock Crusher. So many people find this to be their favorite unit. Runs on tracks. 5 separate ESCs, my friends. Look at this. Ta-da! Can you believe that? There's 4 ESCs right there, all for brushed motors. Plus, there is an ESC on the inside for this large brushless motor that runs the actual jaw crusher itself. Plus, part of those ESCs run the tracks and the multiple conveyor belts that help separate all the crushed rock. This unit alone was about $5,000. This one was about $4,000, depending on where you can find it. Very limited in the areas that you can find it. You can expect to pay a ton. Look at this big behemoth. This is a 200-pound RC. If you've never seen this dump truck before, this is supposed to be replicating a 797F, which is one of the world's largest mining trucks. Now, I don't know why RC 4-wheel drive and Eagle Machinery thought it would be good to come out with this machine, because there's almost literally no machine that can load it. Watch this. This is going to blow you away. Yep. That's actually happening right now. This giant machine actually runs on a car battery that's sitting on the inside, all 12 volts, has a brushless outrunner motor on each back tire. So it's only rear wheel driven. It has a motor, not a servo, but a giant motor that helps turn these 2 giant tires. You can load this full of 300 pounds of gravel. For a total weight of 500 pounds, it will still move. A lot of people that know the show will be asking me, where is your 5th scale loader? It would be perfect for this. But I had that many years ago, and I sold it. and it would be the wrong size for the mine site. This really doesn't belong on a gold mine site. And to really put it into perspective, here is one of the large rock trucks I have. This is not like the Tamiya one that's being speculated about in 2020. The Tamiya one's going to be an electric one as far as I understand. This is a full hydraulic unit right here. This machine, well, this one right here retails about $3,500 US. A ridiculous price for something that you will really have to love to get it. This is all hydraulic as well. The hydraulic tank is down there. Each one of these units that I'm going to show you today has an individual video on my RC Sparks Studio channel. Now here, I unboxed this with my son one day, and we used it all throughout Season 2 of YouTube Gold. This is a beautiful answer for a less expensive version of the Scale Art or the other very expensive hydraulic rock trucks out there. But still, you're looking at around $3,000 US for this. Every one of these I purchased, of course, except for this middle one here, which I had struck a deal with RC 4-wheel drive because they wanted me to show it off on the show. But I still had to work to get that. That's definitely, nothing in life is free, my friends, and you'll figure that out as you go along. But this one here, I paid for it, brought it overseas. It's absolutely wonderful, has not let me down yet. Look at this machine. Anybody that has followed my channel for any decent amount of time will know that this machine here is 100% 3D printed material except for the screws and hardware. This was done by Ryan Spiker. You guys can check out the Spiker Cat and blower on my channel. It has a removable back. You can put a flat deck on the back, or this uses a worm gear drive to actually carry a payload and dump it. Very, very strong. I would always suggest checking out the Spiker Cat and any kind of videos you can find on it. It's absolutely a fabulous machine. Leading me right into the old Tonka. Who here is old enough to remember these old metal Tonkas that you could find in your backyard when you were a kid? We used to push them around, try to ride in it. This is actually an SCX10, an Axial Scx10 that was converted by my buddy Judd Phillips from Judd Phillips RC? I can't remember. Been so long, but I know you're watching, Judd. Once in a while you pop in here. Still have this little unit. This actually ran on Forgelli actuators, which is now Aquatronics, I believe. I can't remember. But regardless, the old actuators finally did give out on it, with no suspension and just very bouncy tires. Very difficult to use on the mine site, but still cute, and I like to have it in the arsenal. Then down from that Tonka, you can see here, look at this. This looks like it is super old and beat up. I did that on purpose. This is actually my newest Bulldozer. I bought this last year during the Boxing Day sale. 60 pounds, my friends. 60 pounds of steel and hydraulics. These machines are absolute beasts. Now I do have aftermarket tracks on here. They work much better than the stock tracks. You can see they actually have holes in the tracks to let the dirt get pushed through from the drive cog, or else you get dirt stuck in the tracks and it just gets packed in there, and it kind of sucks. But this machine here, anybody always asks me, like, what's your favorite RC? I have to say Bulldozers, these ones specifically, because they can push so much material. Again, you're looking at about $2,000 per. This was my first Bulldozer, which looks the newest, but it's actually been used so much on YouTube Gold. In our first season of YouTube Gold, this is what moved our plant around. I ended up getting 2 of them because there was more and more people coming over to play YouTube Gold. And I thought, hey, I might as well get enough equipment for people to run. And we definitely could have used a second Bulldozer. So we were able to get a dual dozing shot, just like I wanted. So we could get them side by side, pushing dirt, opening up the cut. They even have real rippers on the back. People say to me, I have really firm soil where I live. Is it going to be able to push into the soil? I'll say yes. If it's 63 pounds worthy, it will push that ripper into the soil and start moving the tracks forward. Now, if it's going to take more than 63 pounds, and you're not going to get 63 pounds like right on that, but you're going to get hydraulic force pushing down, as well as you can curl it in to start ripping as you pull forward. Absolutely a beautiful machine. All of these hydraulic, real hydraulic fluid that runs in each, and electronic motors that turn the tracks. You'll notice these tracks, they don't have any exit holes on them, and this can actually cause a little bit of a problem like I was mentioning. My very first wheel loader. I love this machine. It's one of my most favorites. Dual pistons on the front, dual rams I should say, and of course dual rams on the bottom on either side to help lift maximum payload. This bucket alone, listen to this. That is pure steel. It is so heavy, the bucket itself must weigh close to 20 pounds. It did not come with forks. I had to buy these from Tobias Breaker, I believe, is how you'd pronounce the name, at least as a white guy that lives in Canada. These forks are absolutely fantastic. I've used them for years. They were actually an assembly kit that I had to put together and glue, but they are all metal. This is a 2-speed transmission, and it has locking and unlocking differentials. I put the lights in myself. But I believe the new model that RC 4-wheel drive offers comes with lights already, but you won't see this one anymore. This is the older style of wheel loader. I bet you it's going to get harder and harder to find them. Yes, my XL 4200 excavator. This has the upgraded Soiland Industries motors, brushed motors on the front. This has been an absolute Goliath for me since I've owned it. It is really a replica of a Model 300 series of a Hitachi, but I'll tell you, I had 2 of them. I sold one of them to my buddy Rookie at the beginning of YouTube Gold, I believe, at the end of Season 1, but the beginning of Season 2. He has the matching one. They're absolutely fantastic. For the price, I think they're like $1,600. Totally worth it in my opinion. But there are many options on the market now. It's totally up to you. They don't have the upgraded drive motors, and they're a little bit on the slow side, and they do have different tracks. These are the old style tracks. You're always going to run into some leaking with hydraulics on these rams. But hey, it's an RC. You're there to tinker, and I think the patina looks pretty darn good. This thing has dug more gold than any other machine on my whole studio. I even got different buckets. Wes, I know you're watching right now, buddy. The Devil's Fangs. Look at that. Great for ripping up topsoil. Here's the Siberian Bucket with individual teeth that come on and off. Wes actually had offered to build me a bucket. This is very much like the bucket that the Dakota Boys. Fred used this to dig down deep into the glory hole underneath when he was trying to find underneath the waterfall, the glory hole on Gold Rush. Amazing. I love that bucket. And of course, everybody that watched the whole build of the Lesu excavator, this was supposed to be a Komatsu, but I decided to take a big risk and paint it the color of a Kobelco. But also, like this is a North America, or pardon me, an Eastern Kobelco, also found in Australia. I decided to go more of a steampunk theme and leave everything brass. All the piping, everything was brass and gold. The trailer didn't come with it, but I also complemented this trailer the same color, and you'll see I've got a set for it, unless you've already seen it in the show. But this, I haven't used it yet because we built it, it froze outside and it snowed. So I'm looking forward to this. And here's the biggest piece of shit that I bought. This is off of AliExpress. Rookie also bought one. The hydraulic rams and the original tracks that come with it, they're just bottom of the barrel quality. Now, I'm sure you can find different models that are okay, and this Liebherr is, it could have been so much better if they would have had faster drive motors and rams that didn't blow up on the first time that you use them. This was about landed in Canada, was about $2,200, so about 1,800 American. Buyers beware on this one. Just heads up on that. It needs some work, and I'll probably repair it, but not anywhere near in the future. It needs some extra parts for sure. Look at this. This is my super small Steiger. This is a beautiful build by Semi Joe. Not Crazy Joe. Semi Joe is a different dude altogether. Been in the game building RCs since the 80s. Custom built me this Steiger, which is articulating. You guys have seen it possibly recently in Loading Kings as the penalty. 6x6 drive, articulating in the middle. Definitely a little powerhouse. I love it. Now, over the years, I've given away quite a few of my semi-trucks to my friends and family and people that I meet. In fact, I rarely sell RCs. I find it's a lot more pleasurable for me to meet people and hand them out and see the smile on their face. But look at this. This was the Bloodshot Airbrush answer to Optimus Overkill, but as a villain. And I decided to make him into a complete, amazing drive truck. Laugh at you will, if you will, about my front tires being grip tires, but it helps with traction when you're turning. This has an all brass transmission. Very strong Rock 412 motor in it. This thing can pull anything. I love this build. I built it with all aluminum tanks on the side. Everything was stretched out. In fact, for those that would remember, this is my old chrome truck that you may know, with a beautiful aluminum Kenworth grill on the front. I love this truck. One of my faves. So many people ask me about my wrecker. This was in collaboration with Greg Marsh. We built this from the ground up, design and all. This was back in the day when my YouTube channel was flourishing. I was one of the only folks that was really making a push on this kind of equipment back in 2013 probably. And I told Greg at that time, if you want to build a dream wrecker truck, what would it be if we had no expense hold, no limits? And so this unit itself is mostly custom made. I wish I could take off the back, but I've got a ton of 8x8 Scania videos where you guys can see this disassembled. All together, including my radio, this unit was $13,000 Canadian, so about 11,000 US. No expense spared. All the way down to the TIG welding on the boom structure. Everything is metal. Everything is hydraulic. Everything was the top of the top. It's a beautiful ride. More people ask me, why don't you let other people run it? Now you know. Another one of my favorites was a gift to me from a good friend, the first person in the world to get a tattoo of the RC Sparks Studio logo. Everyone knows him as the RC Viking. This was a gift to me from him. This is actually an actuator. This is a hook truck that actually will unroll this back deck onto the ground with two actuators, bring out a hook, pick it back up, and slide it onto the front. One of the very first things I had ever seen. I still have it, Mr. RC Viking. For all that know you as Crankillen, brother, you know it, I got it. And my extended B-Mac. Recent viewers have been watching me work on this. I think I'd like to hack this, make it into a single axle, into a short stubby truck. Very difficult to find a 1960s body. Another creation that was done about 12 years ago by Semi Joe. It just happened to end up with me, and I built the rest of it. Now, what the heck would make a Ford truck Extra special? Nothing, many of you would say. Except this has been with me as one of my longest trucks also, with a powerful Rock 412 1200 kV motor on the inside, with an S dual sound kit, Savox servos, and an all brass transmission, locked differentials. This thing can pull for days. It doesn't break a sweat on a 3S LiPo. One of my favorite trucks. How many of you actually saw the video where I went out and bought trucks for my friends and then gave them an opportunity to win them for loading wars? Well, as a universe's reward for me, Lesu actually sent me this deck truck for it to appear on the show. This truck itself is gorgeous. Look underneath. This is all metal. Look at this, the drive shafts, transfer case, axles, everything about this truck, all metal and absolutely superb. In fact, this is a hydraulic tank where I could run lines off of here, and if I want to run a crane off of this truck, I could do that. 6x6 power, 3 windshield wipers, and of course Gem driving on the right hand side because this comes from overseas, and where I drive, we drive on the right hand side. But if you haven't seen this yet, you're going to check out more Loading Kings. You'll see it coming up. Who remembers this one? This is like the tanker truck. I actually took this out on the convoy trip for seven semi trucks that went downtown Calgary. You guys can check that out online. Had a little bit of an accident that day with Crazy Joe. It happens. This actually is going to be turned into a battery charger truck. So instead of a gas tanker, I want to take apart a battery charger for LiPos, put 3 giant sticks of LiPo in here, hook it up to the battery charger so we can have a mobile charging truck on the YouTube Gold site. I think that would be great. It'll take forever to charge a battery, but regardless, the funny concept is still there. Now, remember I was talking about the set? Look at it, here it is. Basically a 4x4, so 2 driven axles in the back, 2 steering axles under the cab. I painted this to be exactly complementing of the trailer, Cabelco, the whole set itself, the brass, everything about it, the gunmetal, the light gunmetal gray. Man, oh man, to see these two rolling together is absolutely a treat. You got to stay tuned to see it though. It's absolutely fantastic. You may have seen it already in one of our penalties on Loading Wars. Go back, or Loading Kings. I believe it was Loading Wars though, or last episode, can't remember. Regardless, go back and check it out, you'll find it. It's a great ride. And sigh, another piece of shit disappointment. This was from Magum RC. For years, I looked for a real RC skid steer, much like my larger one, and this was $1,000 Canadian. I couldn't believe it when I dropped it. I finally said, okay, because they're weighted wheels and everything. The problem with this unit is these drive motors. These drive motors have very small transmissions to them, and they're terrible. Stay away from this unit. Do not buy this unit from Magum RC, however you pronounce that. They do okay work, but this little unit, even when I complained that they sent it to me with one wheel broken, they made a whole bunch of excuses to me. And then I just thought, you know what? Crap on your company. I'm not even going to show that on the show. And I didn't. Here it is, the Lesu forklift, the answer to all the upgraded forklifts that we have. We'll get into those in a second. This is $1,000 unit, my friends. And you know what? For a hydraulic forklift, it's pretty good. There is a problem with it though. The motor, the drive motor, is so slow. It can't go up any ramps. It can only go on straight concrete. So I've had a problem showing this off on the show since I bought it, because when I built it, I had it together. I thought I had everything working, and then a small piece of metal got inside off of the hydraulic block and caused a jam. And then trying to work with the overseas company Lesu was a bit of a challenge, and it took them weeks to get me a replacement part. So we really haven't used it much because still, the leader, still winning, are these plastic upgraded Carson forklifts. Carson used to be owned by Tamiya, whatever you want to call the company. Then they sold it off and they become even cheaper. Now these, even though they're plastic, I did do a complete upgrade series on these, showing how to cut out the bottoms, take them apart, add your own ESCs, add your own battery, LiPo battery, and these things rip. The only problem now is that they used to be $200. But now that Loading Wars has made the surge for forklifts go up, not only are they becoming rarer, but now you find them for around $400, which is just ridiculous because you have to upgrade everything about them when you get them, if you can find them. Thankfully, before the market got crazy, I ended up getting 4. I've got one for a parts truck, we've got 2 functional ones, but only one of them is upgraded. I love these forklifts. They work really, really well, and I hope a company finds a happy medium or either makes this one faster. I did put a request into Lesu to upgrade the motor in there because the way the pinion and the transmission work in that front drive open diff, which is awesome. These all have lock differentials, which means turning with a heavy load absolutely sucks. But this one can lift anything. This one can lift like a king can of beer. These ones can't. So there's a happy medium in there somewhere, I'm sure. And the final 2 in my lineup. Pete, if you're watching, Mr. RC Modder, I had a request to anybody that could convert a Brooder telehandler or Zoom Boom or whatever you want to call it to an RC. Well, Pete stepped up to the plate for me, Mr. RC Modders. Not only that, he made an entire series for you guys to watch if you wanted to do one your own. The only problem is that the ESCs he used were too weak for what we were wanting and ended up burning out right away in both units. But we did get 1 solid use out of them, maybe 2, and I'm trying to get parts again from overseas, but being near the holiday season, it is not easy. So hopefully we'll see these again in the show. Well, there you go, guys. It's starting to look like the auction yard where old equipment goes to die. Well, regardless, thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed the look at my massive RC collection. Again, this being part 2, you're looking at 29 different little RCs used for hauling or gold or loading or whatever you want. It is there. Everything else of mine, of course, has either been given away if you don't see it here and you think it's supposed to be related to it, or sold off. So like some might even ask, where's the little 8x8 dump truck you used to have from RC 4-wheel drive? That is one of the few vehicles that I actually sold to a friend of mine who's actually done a great transformation with it. Brian, excellent job. Glad you have one of the pieces with you. It is such a rare thing that I actually let any of them go. But I will say this. I have been saving up my pennies. I did get a duplicate RC. What is that? What is it? Shall we drive it through the yard? We all needed it. Here it is. Brand new out of the box. Finally here. Yes, you see it right. That is a second rock truck. Over there, woohoo! I could do my rounds straight through each lineup. If we're around long enough after this whole COPPA thing on YouTube, our views have fallen by more than 50% since COPPA has been introduced. I thought I would get it while I could. The second rock truck for YouTube Gold is now in position, guys. Thank you so much again for tuning in. Thank you for all the support over the years, leaving us like comments. If you have a memory about any of these trucks, or if our show has influenced you in any way with your family or just on your own or with your friends, please leave it in a comment down below. We'd love to read it, and we'll see you in the next episode of RC Adventures. Now get outside and have fun with RC. You know I always do, and it's been an absolute blast. See you next time.